Good afternoon, everybody. This is Tanish Laverne Graham with blackinamerica.com. I am super excited to bring to the platform someone who is very near and dear to me, Miss Donna Earl, an author from my hometown of Chester, PA. She has a brand new book out, a couple of books actually, but we're going to start with the first one during this interview, When I Close My Eyes. And when I tell you this book is quite the page turner, When I Close My Eyes, available on Amazon. So don't forget, go to Amazon.com and order this book. To my friends, family, and colleagues, most of you I've already reached out to, and you're already reading this book, so I'm happy about that. But Close My Eyes has an amazing character in this book, which is my hometown of Chester, PA, and Donna's hometown as well. And we're just going to get into um, an interview, about Donna, and what was her inspiration for writing this book and having Chester, Pennsylvania at the center. Welcome to the platform, Donna.
Well, thank you, Tanisha. It's so nice to see you, and thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here. Actually,
Oh, listen, Donna. Look, I got dog ears in this book. Can you see? I listen. I just cannot another dog ear. I just cannot put this down. But before we get into the book, I just want to talk a little bit about you and your story and your background. Like, I know you're from Chester. Did your family, I know Chester was not the baseline. So where did your family come from before arriving to Chester? And what year did they arrive to Chester? Do you know?
my mother came to. She started out in Rhoda, Virginia, Big Stone Gap, Virginia, and my father was from Seneca, Chester, South Carolina. That's where he was from. And I'm not sure what year, but I believe it was like in the 1940s when they came to the area. They first stopped was in Wilmington, Delaware, and then they migrated to Chester.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. So what was your life like growing up in Chester, Pennsylvania?
My parents gave me the best that they could give me. You know, they had limited education, but one thing they couldn't give us was a lot of materialistic things, but they gave us a lot of love. And that was really the most important thing that they could give us. Our parents, we lived in a 5-room house, and so we had to learn how to get along. And right to this day, my siblings and I were very, very close. And so the most important thing they gave me was love. And that's what I draw on each and every day of what they gave us. They never did give us a lot of materialistic things. They didn't find that very important. Their importance was love. You know, you need to learn how to get along. You need to learn how to love on one another. And they never liked to see us fight with one another. We had to really, really get along. You know, being in a compressed 5-room house, 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a kitchen. That's all we had. So we had to learn to get along. We fought, but we got along really, really well.
I get that. Listen, I mean, my family's from the Bennett Homes projects and the Fairground projects, both in Chester, PA, and both very similar environments. I mean, my grandmother Rose Hawkins, Rosie Hawkins, her maiden name was Patterson. May she rest in peace. Her house was at 1415 Norris Drive, right on the horseshoe of the Bennett Homes, and it was a kitchen, living room, which was pretty big actually. And then the upstairs, which was a bathroom and 3 bedrooms. But I got to tell you this, it was one of the safest homes that I had, where I could visit and feel safe and tucked in and nurtured and doted on. There was so much love at 1415 Norris Drive. And that was my mother's side of the family. And then my dad's side of the family. And you know my dad, you went to school with my Aunt Denise. I think you guys graduated the same year.
Yes, we did.
Chester High class in 1977.
Yes.
And my dad's family lived on Atwell Street, 1307 Atwell Street. And again, same situation, you know, kitchen, living room, upstairs, bathroom with 3 bedrooms. And, you know, so many stories, so much love and nurturing and cultivating of excellence, right?
Yes.
Those
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
what was your early inspirations for writing? Like, where did that begin for you?
It started in elementary school. You know, I really didn't have any real training in writing, but Miss Constance Brown was like my format. She was a
Okay.
stickler for subject and verb agreement because she understood how important it was for us Blacks to know how to read and write. And for whatever reason, she chose me, it seems. It seemed like she was really, really hard on me. So now that I look at it, I think she saw something in me that, you know, that made her really get on me. So she was my inspiration. You know, I have to give it to her.
What school was that? Was that at?
That was at Franklin Elementary. This was in the
Okay.
seventh grade. This was in the seventh grade. She
Wait
was
a
really
minute.
tough.
I went to Franklin, and when I was there, Franklin was only an elementary school, so it went to 12th grade when you were there. What was it?
No, Miss Brown was my inspiration from elementary school.
Oh, okay,
She
okay.
was from Franklin, you know, was sixth, seventh, and eighth.
When you were there.
Yes, it was sixth, seventh, and eighth.
Wow. So when I came, and I believe you're about 16, 17 years my senior. So
Mhm.
when I got to Franklin, it was an elementary school. It
Yeah,
was
it still was an
kindergarten.
elementary school, but we had sixth, seventh, and eighth there when we
Oh,
started.
wow.
Hmm.
Wow, that's pretty
Yes,
fascinating. So you know what,
yes.
Miss Constance Brown, we're gonna like, raise our hands a little bit for
Yes,
Miss
give it to her
Constance
because she
Brown.
was a stickler. She really was a stickler for subject and verb agreement. She wanted us to know how to read and write because she knew how important it was. You know, as
Yeah.
Black and inner city children, we needed to learn, and that was what she taught us. So I have to
Mhm.
give it to her.
I had some amazing teachers growing up and coming of age and being educated in the Chester Upland School District. And a couple of my favorite teachers were, of course, Miss Irma Mason, who I follow on social media. She's an amazing teacher. I had her in high school for civics or some sort of African American studies course. And then when I was at Pulaski Junior High School, I had this amazing English teacher, Lavina Johnson Smith. So, like, the best of love I always send to Lavina Johnson Smith. I don't follow her on social, but I am aware of a few people who do follow her. So once in a while, I'll see something with her tagged on it. And I'm
Mhm.
just always called to make sure that I acknowledge how much of an impact she had on my life and on the life of so many students that she taught during her time at Pulaski Junior High School. Once
Mhm.
I got to Chester High School, there was Mrs. Jennings and her sister, Miss Tucker, who taught biology. Miss Jennings taught English, and her sister taught um, biology and another course, I think. And they
Mhm.
were amazing teachers. So I hate when people try to undercut the value of the education that students have received coming out of the Chester Upland School District, because there are so many of us who are products of that, who are thriving and doing well. We are doing more than surviving. We are thriving. So I'm so glad that you mentioned Constance Brown. So talk a little bit about Donna, just the teen years, and coming of age in Chester. Like, what was that like for you? Because when I close my eyes, the
I'm
teen
from
years.
For me, it was jump rope, kick the can, hide and go seek, you know, that sort of thing. For me, it was a little tough because bullying, you know, played an important part of my growing up. You know, it was tough. You know, they picked out one particular thing. You know how they take you look different. And
Yep.
so they pick that out and they just ride you and ride you and ride you. You know, but I used that as a stepping stone to do better,
Mm-hmm.
to show them, yes, you might have talked about me, you may have made fun of me, but I'm going to do better than what you think.
Wow.
So my growing up was pretty good. The parties over at the Armory on 7th Street and the
Mm.
Y over there near Chester High. And I had good friends and I had good influences. So it was really a positive, you know, it was a positive thing for me, even though it was bullying. But I had a lot of positive influences. My siblings, my parents, you know, they were definitely a support system for me every day. So when I would come home, they would be encouraging, you know, it's going to be okay, Donna. And I
Mm.
had Spencer Memorial Church as
Oh,
my
wow.
as an influence as well, because my mother made sure that we went to church every Sunday that the Lord sent.
I
So, and we had Miss Harris and Miss Guy, and so going to church was my avenue to get away from all of what I was dealing with. So for me, my upbringing was very, very positive, except for
love,
that,
and I
except
love,
for that.
listen, Donna, I had my fair share of bullies too, girl. Whew. I mean, from the time I stepped foot in pre-care, kindergarten, what's it, preschool, whatever it's
Mhm.
called,
Mhm.
onward. You know, I always had some little chick and her little cronies, hyenas, my mother used to call them, the
Yeah.
hyenas, circling around her girl. My mother did not play that. You know, so you went on to Morgan State University
Yes,
in
I did.
Maryland. You know, congratulations about that, Morgan. We love Morgan. So, how did Morgan come into this story for you? Who were those teachers, those guiding counselors, your parents? Like, who was that one person like pushing you to get a college education in the 1970s?
Well, it was my brothers and sisters because they both went to Virginia State University,
Mm,
as well as my two brothers and my sister went to Virginia State. So I wanted to follow in his footstep because they were like the catapult for higher education. And our parents, they didn't have the best educations, so they were sticklers. I want you to go to college. I want you to have a better education. I want the best for you. And so I started to go to Virginia State, but it was something about Morgan that I
mm.
wanted to go to. And my cousin went to Morgan State. So Morgan played a very good part in my avenue. And I had the best time at Morgan State University when I first
Uh-oh.
stepped on that college. And they had Reflections nightclub, girl. We had a good time. And I
I
met
love
some
it.
wonderful friends that I still deal with right to this day.
Mm,
They were like a shadow. They were like a protector of me because they saw that I was, a little timid a little bit. So they were like strong DC girls. They were from
okay.
Washington, DC. So they were like right there with me to hold me up. They would take me home with them and show me
Mm.
around Washington, DC. So I had like that was where I wanted to be, I think, in the future. I thought that I would want to move to Washington, DC through them.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yes.
So all of your siblings are college graduates.
Yes. My brother Michael went to North Carolina Central, and the first three brothers, my first three siblings, they went to Virginia State. Yes. So we were college bound. It was necessary. My mother was like, you either go to school or you get a job. Now you had to pick or choose. I'm not going to choose for you. So I chose to go to school.
Rhonda, that's amazing. I don't know of many households in Chester, PA, where the entire family, where all of the siblings graduated from college. There's like one or two, depending on, how many, but I don't think I know of any family where all the siblings graduated from college or university. Like, wow.
Yeah, my
Wow.
mother and my parents were they would get our grade, our report cards, and they would, give us like $5 for every A. So you would go to school and you would really, really work hard to like, I want an A. And then it just came natural. It just came natural because you studied hard. And my parents were stickler for education. They were really on us all the time.
That's amazing. That
Yeah.
is amazing. So once you got to Morgan State University, you're around DC, and DC is, it's the state capital. I mean, it's the
Mhm.
capital of the world. Where the give me menopause is real. I just had a menopausal mind flub. I'm not even going to pretend that that did not happen.
Mhm.
But we know that Washington D.C. is home to America's politics. Did you ever consider having a career in politics? That was the question that I was trying to get out.
No, I didn't think I think I was a little scared of it.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
in a sense, because it was just so much power going. You had so much power and influences in it. And I never really thought about that was I capable? That's the self-esteem
Mm.
in me. I never thought I was capable of being on a hill. But I always was interested in how it all went about. So when I did meet people, especially a young man that I met, and he worked for the senators, I was asking him a ton of questions, and he really gave me a kick in the butt that I really should have went for it, but it's okay. I never thought to do it for me.
So, what career did you get into coming out of Morgan?
Well, my major was business administration and my minor was marketing, but I ended up being an accountant.
Accounting.
And so I'm dealing with numbers every day.
I love, listen, my nephew Troy Bernard Hicks Jr. just graduated with an associate's degree in accounting today. So I may have to send him your direction for some coaching and some developing. So I want to get into this book just a little bit because again, when I close my eyes, you guys, can you see the whole book? When I close my eyes by Donna Earl is available on Amazon, and I am really encouraging you to buy this book. It is quite the page turner. There are characters in this book that you will root for, that you will relate to, that you will want to hug, that you will want to uh, sometimes take your hand and go upside their head a couple times. But this is an excellent book. Donna,
Thank you.
when did you start? You're quite welcome. When did you start the writing process for this book?
In 2004, in my head. In
Whoa.
2004, in my head, I knew the beginning and I knew the ending, but I didn't really put the story together until 2016 after reading Terry Wood's book, The Dutch. And I said, oh, I could do this, I think. Let me try. So it seemed like as soon as I put pen to paper, the story just took off on its own. And when I tried to like not do the book, it was like a voice was saying, keep it going. I want you to keep this book going. I had sleepless nights, anxiety. I would sit in my car every day, early morning before 9 o'clock, because I had to be at work at 9. I was in my car at 6, reading and writing and changing and moving and, everything. Thank God for my friend Vicki West, because Vicki West was like she was my soundboard and she was with me every step of the way. So I got to give her my kudos. Her kudos. But that's how the story started in 2004 in my brain.
Donna, you and I have talked almost ad nauseum about this book. And I don't want to get into a lot of details and a lot of spoilers because we are going to have a roundtable virtual book discussion about this. But I want to talk a little bit about one of the characters that I completely fell in love with, Ruthie. What was the developmental process like in you creating who Ruthie would be in this story?
Well, like I said in the beginning, the story started out in 2014, but it was kind of sort of based on a friend of mine that she's now deceased, but she had told me a lot about herself. And I had told her, I said, your story is so interesting. That story needs to be heard. She said, no, some things is left better unsaid, left unsaid. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to write this story. She said, oh, no, you're not, Donna. You're not going to write this story. I said, how much you want to bet? So there were times that she would share some things about me. So when I closed my eyes, I used her as a muse. And I kind of told it to her, hey, tell me what you want me to say. Tell me what you want me to do with it. So Ruthie became her.
Wow.
And she's the person is in the story. You would never know, but I do.
Yeah.
But that's who Ruthie is. She was my influence, this particular person.
And I'm still, listen, Ruthie, I love you, Ruthie. I love you, Ruthie. I love you, Ruthie.
Her. I'm glad you enjoyed her.
You guys, please get this book. Please get this book. When I Close My Eyes by Donna Earl. It is available on Amazon. So again, we talked about Chester, Pennsylvania, our hometown, being at the center, the backdrop, a main character in this book. When you close your eyes and you think of, those scents and smells that really are the hold of Chester, PA. Like right now, as I'm saying that, I'm 12 years old and I'm coming out of Pulaski Junior High School and I'm walking home and I can smell Farillos. Or not Farillos, 2J's.
2J. Oh,
Yeah.
that was getting ready to say the same thing. That was my place. And I still go to that place every time I come to Chester.
Is it still there?
It's still there. It is still there. I go to 2J's every single time. That's the first stop. I don't go anywhere else until I go to 2J's and get me a hoagie or, maybe a chicken cheesesteak. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Oh,
When I
wow.
close my eyes and think of Chester, I think about water ices down at the Memorial Park. I think about
Mm.
the clean cut grass. I think about my community, the people I grew up with. I think about all the people that I miss that have gone on to glory. I think about my parents and how hard it was for them to raise 5 children in a 2-bedroom, in a 5-room house. And they didn't have the best education. My mother was a domestic and my father was an undercoater at a car dealer, but they did the best they could to instill so many great values in us, in their children, to do well and to be great people. And they done a great, fabulous job. I think of them often, and I thank them for being the best. They couldn't have done any better for us. Yeah.
I mean, clearly, they got all their babies to college.
Yes.
And graduated.
Mm-hmm.
Not just there, and dropping out, but there was an active component of what was happening on campus, and then graduated and have gone on to do amazing things with their life, including having an author of this book that I pray to God we can turn into some sort of series or film, short docu-series, because this book is quite the page turner when I close my eyes, available on Amazon.com. Buy this book. So Donna, our city, it is a blighted city.
Mm-hmm.
It is not without its problems. Um, the average median income is less than $30,000 a year. People are not registered to vote. People who are registered to vote are not voting. What would you like to say to those fellow Chesterites in our hometown who have lost their lack of enthusiasm around the progress of the city?
I would want to say to them to keep your head up and keep your eyes to the sky, because the God will lead you. I want the people of Chester to know, don't sleep on yourself. If you have a book or you have a story to tell, put that thing out there, because you just have no idea. Look at some of the influences we had. We had Ethel Waters that came from Chester. We had Martin Luther King. We had Jameer Nelson and Tyreek Evans. They are phenomenal basketball players, for themselves. We have so many positiveness. Don't let your surroundings or the selective few bring you down. You got it in you. You got it in you. Don't sleep on yourself. That's what I say.
Donna, that's excellent. And then thank you for sharing that. This book, the women who are at the center, um, I'm sorry, guys, this book, I get emotional about this book because I feel like, number one, I see myself in some of the characters. I see some of the women and my family in these characters. I see some of the women that I grew up with in these characters. You will find yourself. You will see yourself. You will be able to identify with many of the women in this book. Um, Donna, the women in this book are operating from a place of lack and brokenness. When you think about the opportunities that were afforded you and your family, as a woman in the 1970s, being able to go on and get a college education, can you speak to the power of education and the freedom that we get as women to educate ourselves beyond a high school diploma? Because some of the women in this book, they didn't have that. They didn't have, some of them didn't have, the basic fundamental skills to go out and find, let's just say a data entry job or, anything that can help them move along better in life. So can we talk to the power of getting a proper education?
There was a time when I came back, I left Morgan and I didn't have a job. And I came back and I started working at Fair Acres Nursing Home.
Mm.
I don't have anything against dealing with senior citizens because they are some of the best people. They have some of the greatest stories, and they would help you along the way. However, I knew that there was something inside of me that I could do better. I know I could do something better than this. So what I did was I even took extra classes at Delaware County Community College. And I
Mm.
took secretarial classes. And then what happened was a friend of mine decided that to have a baby. And she said, I want you to come to DC and I want you to be my baby's godmother. So I said, okay. So I jumped on a bus, on a plane, I mean, on a bus, and she met me at the train station or the bus station. And that was her. She's the one that helped me along the way. If it wasn't for her, I'm not sure where I would be because I wasn't doing anything once I left Morgan because I didn't know how to find a job,
Mm.
kind of, sort of. I did not know
Mm.
how to find a job. All I knew was maybe the post office or maybe Fair Acres, or maybe down at Scott's Paper, but I wanted to do something different. So when the opportunity came for me to move to DC, I packed up everything I had. I rode down the street to my brother's apartment. I said, listen, tell mommy that I moved to DC, and that was it.
You took a
That
leap
was
of
it.
faith, and God sent you some angels along the way too.
Yes, he did. And even though I apologized to my mother down the road about how I left, but I
Mm.
felt as though the opportunity was there and that I
Mm.
needed to take it then. And
I
so
get that.
when I had a ride, I packed up everything that I had and I'm on my way.
Wow, Donna, that's an amazing story. I have a similar story, but this interview was not about me. If you guys follow me, you know my story because I'm pretty transparent. You know, I want to talk about the the writing a little bit more because it's so punchy too. You know, it's so it's matter of fact. It's in your face. Anyone at any educational level can understand this book. And I think that's important too.
Mhm.
So, talk to me a little bit about why you chose the writing style that you did.
Because it was based on the person that started me out with the story of telling her story. Um, Ruthie didn't have a lot of education. You know, she had the formal years, but she didn't have the education because she never finished high school. So her English is really broken, and she was a matter of fact type of person. She didn't know how to, you know, to not be fake. She had to tell you straight off how she felt, and she talked straight from the shoulder. She didn't have any filters. She said what she said, and that was exactly how this person was. You know, if you wanted to ask her a question, she would tell you how she felt, and she didn't mean to hurt your feelings, but it was what she said.
And we all know those people too.
Yeah,
We all have them in
that's
our
what
family. Okay.
she did. She
Straight,
talked
no
straight
chaser.
in.
Black coffee, no cream.
That's right.
You
Ruthie
gonna
was
get it
that
where you
type.
get it. You gonna get it
Yes.
where you get it. I love that. Donna, When I Close My Eyes is definitely one of my favorite books for,
Oh,
my
thank you
spring summer read.
so much,
You're
so
you're
much. Thank
quite
you so
welcome.
much.
You're quite welcome.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have to be a reader to write. So when you are curating your summer reading list, what are some of the books that you've read in the past that have inspired you to become an author? Like, what are some of those books?
If Bill Street Could Talk.
Oh, and that became a movie. We're gonna put it on. Listen, we're gonna put it on here. Oh, baby.
um, uh, if Bill Street Could Talk, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Ooh.
Stephen King was like one of the best for me. I loved everything he wrote.
Oh, wait, do I have some Stephen King? Oh, yeah.
Terry McMillan, she was a great influencer because her characters were straight in your face. Um, I liked all of her books, Terry McMillan. But if I had to choose, if Bill Street Could Talk and To Kill a Mockingbird.
If Bill Street Could Talk. And our
Yes.
girl Regina King won an Academy Award for If Bill Street Could Talk. And Coleman Domingo, who just came off an amazing award season, was also in If Bill Street Could Talk.
Mm-hmm.
Donna
That
Earl.
was a great movie. Great movie. Great movie.
Yeah, yeah. I saw it in Harlem. And when I say there wasn't a dry eye in the house, and when the movie ended, it was a standing ovation. And I'm going to sow a faith seed that we get that same experience for when I close my
Close my
eyes.
eyes.
When I close my eyes. This book, I can't even see movie. I'm already saying it. This book deserves to be a movie. It should be a movie. I'm putting that out there.
Oh, thank you so much. I want to say to the audience, I didn't know I could do it until I did it. So I want you to do the same thing. You don't know what you're capable of until you try. You don't know what you're capable of until you try. So for me, I didn't know I could do it until I did it.
And you know what, you guys? We're going to end there. And I got to say one more time, When I Close My Eyes is available on Amazon by Donna Earl, my fellow Chester, Pennsylvania native, a proud alumna of Morgan State University. I know I got some Morgan State alums who follow me. You guys, please, please buy this book. And when you buy it, you love it, please make sure that you put your comments, a review on the Amazon post, and join us for the virtual book discussion that we're going to have next month in June. Donna, it has been a gift and a pleasure and an
Thank you
honor.
so much, Tanisha, for being behind me. I appreciate it. Thank you for everything that you've done. And thank you for having me on this program. I'm really
Oh,
thankful. And I'm
you're
thankful
welcome.
that you read the book and that you truly enjoy it. You
Oh,
know, I
enjoyed
really
it.
do.
Enjoyed it. Man, do you see the dog ears? You guys, there are so many dog ears I have in this book. You can't even see them. I should have highlighted, but I'm a dog ear person. It is quite the page turner. It is going to pull at your heartstrings. You are going to fall asleep reading this book, and when you get up in the morning, you're just going to throw your readers on to finish
Thank
it.
you so much for
Finish
that. I
it.
appreciate it.
You are quite welcome. This has been a joy. It has
Thank you.
been a
Thank you.
joy,
Thank you so much.
and I look forward to our virtual book discussion that's going to happen in June right here. So if you want to participate, buy the book on Amazon. Buy the book on Amazon and reach out to me, and I will make sure you are part of the virtual book discussion. But until next time, this is Tanish Laverne Grant for BlackInAmerica.com.